everyone, Alex from Berkman here. I hope you're doing well. I'm very excited to say that I've got a companion with me today. I don't just mean this magnificent magnum of Calafuria. I'm being joined by Jacob Kenedy, the renowned chef, he of Bocca di Lupo, Plaquemine Lockdown, the geometry of pasta. He's going to be joining me from across town to launch his latest, greatest creation, the 6-bottle JK Summer Case, available on Help for Hospitality. Not only that, he's got an amazing recipe that goes perfectly with this Calafuria, which features in the case. And just to demonstrate that really anyone can cook it, we're going to be doing it together. So I've got my ingredients prepped, I'm ready to go, and I'm going to hand over to Jacob and see you in a bit.
Hey, I'm Jacob, and this is a dish of pasta with prawns. I chose it because it's magic with Calafuria, a rosé I'm going to be drinking shortly, and quite lockdown friendly because you can make it with almost anything, almost any kind of leftover pasta. I have here some tagliolini, almost any spring vegetable. I have here asparagus, it'd be great with peas, it'd be great with courgettes. In winter I make it with radicchio. Some prawns, again you can use almost any kind of seafood, crab, lobster, smoked fish would be alright. A herb, doesn't really matter which one, I'm going to use a bit of rosemary, you could omit it. A touch of red onion, and heretically with seafood there's a bit of cheese in this, so I've got a bit of parmesan, you could use pecorino, a lump of butter, I'm a chef, and quite a bit of cream. I'm going to start by warming a pan, and the way we make this dish is it's kind of a pretty quick saute of all the ingredients, and then it goes into an oven-proof dish under the grill and gets gratinated. While the pan is warming, and it's getting there, I'm going to quickly pick my rosemary, comme ça, and run a knife through it. Remove my prawn tentacles. I'm going to take the asparagus, and these are pretty thick, so I think I'm going to cut them lengthways first. Ooh, there we go, we're okay. And I will cut them into chunks in a second. That. It's a very forgiving dish, and one that I first had in a rather swanky restaurant called Da Fiore in Venice, and that's most unlike me because I hate swanky restaurants in Italy. In fact, I hate swanky Italian restaurants anywhere. For me, it's simple food best cooked in the home or in restaurants that mimic the home, where it's cooked by mothers and aunties rather than people who call themselves chefs like me. But Da Fiore in Venice is excellent, and it's where I first really fell in love with Italian wine. I remember the first wine I had there was a Chardonnay from Castello di Amma, which was epic. My butter is going in the pan, and it's going to sizzle a bit. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. And then Soave, a lot of Soaves. I had a wine by Anselmi a few years later after that first visit. You can see this is a prodigious amount of butter, and probably you could get by with less. I'd say that's about 50 grams. I think you could get by with maybe 25 would be alright, but it's going to be better like this. Butter's sizzling. I'm going to put the onions in for a couple of seconds. You can use onions, you can use shallots. There's no garlic in this dish. You could omit, not that important. I'm going to let them fry for not very long. Next, I'm going to put in my asparagus. And in this case, the rosemary is going in at the same time because I got muddled together on my board. But don't tell Alex, who's also making this dish, that you can be that cavalier. And I give that a nice toss in the pan. You see that? Yummy. I'm going to give a sprinkle of salt at this stage to season the vegetables. The pasta is already seasoned from cooking it, and a bit of pepper. That can go in at any point. I'm going to do it now because I've got a free moment. This is super quick. I think at Da Fiore, where I had this dish, if they had a herb in there, it was thyme. And the vegetable, it was in winter, they had shredded radicchio, which is how I normally make this at Bocca. And it was very small because it's very rich. Those asparagus are just warmed through, they're not cooked. The prawns are going in now.
Not in my case. I don't have raw prawns, I could only get cooked, so I'm going to save those for later.
And again, they don't really need to cook because they're going to carry on cooking once the pasta's in the oven and once they're in the oven. And I'm going to quickly open my bottle of wine. I'm tempted to open the Magnum, but it's only lunchtime. So I think I'll start with a bottle to get the juices running. This wine is part of my mixed case of 6, which is available. We'll talk about that in a moment, to order from Berkman. This is called Calafuria, and it's made by a winery called Tormaresca in Puglia, run by a friend of mine called Vito Palombo. Hello Vito, Mr. Puglia. And Tormaresca is a winery that's been bought essentially and invested in by Antinori, who have a stated goal and are succeeding to make Puglia into a real wine destination. Sorry Vito, here's a little bit of your wine going into the pan, but it's just a splash, and there's more than a splash going into my glass. This wine has basically taken over Italy. Every coastal town, every bar on the beach has Calafuria. I'm putting some cream in the pan now, quite a good slug, and people are drinking it. It's kind of the Whispering Angel, the Provence of Italy, and this is selling in huge quantities and is the taste of the Italian seaside, maybe the last 3 years. It's wonderfully citrusy, but not in your face lemon. Maybe a little bit of tangerine or grapefruit. Kind of white fruit, white peaches, lychees.
It's ripe, nice.
It's a very summery wine. I'm putting the pasta into the pan. This is tagliolini. I would use spaghetti, could be great here, linguine, tagliatelle, egg pasta is really nice. And you can see I am a messy cook. But again, don't tell Alex, it's best he doesn't know. And I'm just mixing this in to coat the pasta in the cream a little bit more. Okay, that's it. The prawns are half cooked. The pasta is coated in the cream, but there's a bit of cream left in the bottom of the pan. And the dish is almost good to eat. I'm going to quickly taste it. Let me get a spoon. Tasting is the most important thing to do in the kitchen, again and again and again, and that is absolutely perfect. I'm going to put this in an oven-proof dish. First a bit of pasta, then I'm going to put everything else on top, so that's a lovely dish of pasta studded with half-cooked prawns, warmed through asparagus, very nearly ready to eat, but not quite. I'm going to give it a little grating of Parmesan. So just a light coating. You want just a hint, because with prawns, with seafood, you don't want too dominating a cheese taste, but a little bit's nice here, and I'm going to whack that under the grill, which I thoughtfully preheated. So I'm going to say cheers to Berkman for their helpful hospitality scheme. They came up with a genius idea. With coronavirus and lockdown, almost all of my importers and wholesalers are struggling just to pay their staff a little bit, to keep themselves moving, to keep themselves alive. Restaurants are dead. We are all shut down. And customers are all stuck at home with nothing to do but drink wine. And so what Berkman are doing is they are making some wines available, which are normally only available in, a lot of them in the finer wine shops or finer restaurants, things that are a real treat when you eat out. And they're making them available at retail prices. And they're giving people like me a discount code, and I'm not going to plug it in this video, but it is underneath. If you look, there's my discount code. Please use that one, because then I get a little kickback. And if you use this discount code, you get a saving. You get 5% off what you buy. 12.5% of the net revenue, the money less VAT, that you pay will go to me or to another restaurant and to help them out. In my case, it goes to subsidise a grocery service which I'm providing locals who live around my pub. And the rest goes to Berkman and pays for the wine, keeps their wine growers in the money so they can afford to pick and plant next year's crop, and will bring you a glass of something really delicious. This is Calafuria. I'm Jacob Kenedy. The pasta is under the grill, and is my lunch. That's a dish for two, by the way. I don't know if you can see, I'm gaining some coronavirus pounds. I will be able to eat that quite happily by myself. Let's just see what's happening here and arm myself with the other tool of the trade, the fork.
In the 3 minutes 40 seconds that follow, Jacob checks the grill 3 times and the quality of the wine 2 times. After a total of 6 minutes under the grill, he's getting hungry.
Was that 30 seconds? Yes, that was 30 seconds. Here is the finished dish, if you can see that, beautifully browned. At the restaurant, I normally make this in a much smaller container, because this is quite a large portion even for two. But I'll do it in something which I'm planning to serve it in at the table. And at home, which I am, I would put this on the table. But I'm going to dish up a little bit for myself right here, because I have you with me. If I can. It's a bit hard without putting this one down.
One for me, and this is the gluten-free option, simulating real restaurant experience here with the dietary requirements.
And this little portion, so I said in the recipe that it serves 2, but really I'd say it serves 2 to 3, and probably 3 normal people, only 2 if you're like me. This was genetically engineered to go with richer, fatter whites, so maybe slightly oaked ones, not too aggressively so, and with rosé, and specifically genetically engineered, even though this was born long before Calafuria was imagined, with Calafuria.
That is sensational. Taste of Italy, the taste of summer. Cheers. Thanks, Jacob.
Here's to you, Berkman. Here's to you, Helpful Hospitality. Buy a case that I put together for you. It's a sunshine case for this time of year.